You know what nobody tells you about bomb cyclones? It's not the wind that gets you. It's not the snow. It's not even the cold. It's the decision you make at 2 a.m. when the power's been out for 6 hours and your house is dropping to 45 degrees. It's that moment when you think running the generator in the garage with the door cracked will be fine. Just this once. It's watching your neighbor's taillights disappear down the street because he swears the highway is still clear. That's when people get into trouble. Not from the storm itself, from the choices they make when they're cold, scared, and desperate. I've been preparing for disasters since 2012, and here's what took me years to figure out. We've all been thinking about storm survival completely wrong. Every weather report focuses on wind speed and snowfall totals, but nobody talks about the 9 specific mistakes that turn a survivable situation into a catastrophe. Mistakes that claimed 64 victims in Buffalo 2022. Mistakes that took 49 more in January 2026. Today, I'm revealing the 9 mistakes most people will make when a bomb cyclone develops, and exactly how to avoid each one. Number 1. Running your generator indoors. Let me tell you about something that happened 2 days ago. An 86-year-old man was found unconscious next to his generator. He thought he was being smart, keeping the power on while everything around him went dark. His family was inside, trusting him to keep them safe. The carbon monoxide had already filled every room, colorless, odorless, completely undetectable. By the time anyone realized something was wrong, it was far too late. This isn't a rare occurrence. This happens every single storm. People think cracking the garage door provides enough ventilation. It doesn't. People think running the generator just outside the back door is safe. It's not. The gas seeps through gaps, vents, and even walls faster than you'd believe. Here's what makes carbon monoxide so terrifying. You can't see it. You can't smell it. Your body can't detect it at all. The first symptoms feel like exhaustion, headache, dizziness, confusion. But those symptoms are actually your brain being starved of oxygen. And by the time you realize what's happening, you often can't physically move yourself to safety. I've tested this with CO monitors. A generator running in a 2-car garage with the door fully open, not cracked, fully open, reaches dangerous levels within 15 minutes. With the door cracked, you're looking at lethal concentrations in under 10. The only safe distance is 20 feet minimum from any door, window, or vent. I know that's inconvenient when it's freezing outside and snow is blowing sideways, but inconvenient beats the alternative. Here's my setup. Designated spot 23 feet from any opening. Small 3-sided shelter to protect from weather while allowing ventilation. Outdoor rated extension cords to a transfer switch, and CO detectors on every floor inside, tested monthly. Your generator can save your life or end it. The difference is where you put it. Number 2. Driving during the storm. They found people in their cars, still wearing seatbelts, engines silent, windows frosted from the inside. Some were less than a mile from their homes. They could almost see their porch lights. Almost. Buffalo, December 2022. 64 people lost to a single storm. Many of them weren't caught off guard. They knew the storm was coming. They just thought they could beat it. Thought the roads couldn't possibly be as bad as the warning said. Thought a quick 15-minute drive would be fine. Here's what people don't understand about bomb cyclone conditions. Visibility can drop to absolute zero within seconds. One moment you see the road, the next you're in complete whiteout. You can't see your own hood. Other drivers can't see you. That's when the pileups happen. 50 cars, sometimes more. But let's say you don't crash. Let's say you just get stuck. Now you're sitting in a metal box with windows that loses heat fast. Your fuel gauge says you've got maybe 6 hours of engine runtime. Every minute you run that engine, you're risking carbon monoxide poisoning if snow blocks your exhaust. I talked to a survivor from Buffalo, spent 19 hours trapped in his car before rescue arrived. He told me the worst moment wasn't the cold. It was when he tried to restart his engine after a few hours and got nothing. Battery frozen, no heat, 7 hours of darkness still ahead. He survived because he had blankets and hand warmers in his glove box. Most people don't. My rule is simple and non-negotiable. If there's a bomb cyclone warning, I don't drive. Period. Doesn't matter if the roads look fine right now. Doesn't matter if it's just a short trip. No destination is worth becoming another frozen vehicle on the evening news. Number 3. Shoveling snow without precautions. Every single year, approximately 100 people collapse while shoveling snow and never get back up. Not from slipping, not from the cold. Their hearts simply stop. I almost became one of them in 2017, 34 years old. Thought I was in decent shape. 18 inches of snow overnight, and I wanted to clear the driveway fast. Went out at 6 a.m., started throwing snow hard because I figured quicker meant warmer. 20 minutes in, I felt this tightness across my chest. Not sharp pain, more like someone pressing down on my sternum. Then my left arm started tingling, went numb. I stopped, went inside, sat down and focused on breathing. 15 minutes later, the feeling passed. I never saw a doctor. I should have. Looking back, I'm almost certain I was on the edge of something serious. Here's what's actually happening when you shovel. Cold air constricts your blood vessels, immediately raising blood pressure. Then you start lifting, throwing, pushing, an extreme exertion your body isn't ready for. Your heart demands more oxygen, but those constricted vessels can't deliver it fast enough. Add dehydration from sleep and cold, dry air pulling moisture from your lungs. Your blood gets thicker, harder to pump, more likely to clot. Now add the fact that most people shovel first thing in the morning, exactly when heart attacks are already most likely due to natural hormone cycles. Cardiologists literally call it the perfect storm for cardiac events. Here's how I handle it now. I wait an hour after waking, drink water, eat something light, push snow instead of lifting. Take breaks every 15 minutes, scheduled, not when I'm tired. If I feel any chest pressure or arm tingling, I stop immediately. Or I just pay the neighbor kid $20. My driveway isn't worth my life. Number 4, misusing space heaters. Space heaters are responsible for 81% of all home heating fire tragedies, 80% of heating-related injuries, over 1,600 house fires every single year. And during power outages, when desperation kicks in, these numbers spike dramatically. My neighbor almost lost everything during the 2021 Texas freeze. He had a space heater running in his bedroom overnight. Woke up at 3 a.m. to smoke. The heater had been about 2 feet from his bedding. Seemed like plenty of distance. The fabric had been smoldering for who knows how long. Flames were just starting to show when he opened his eyes. He was lucky. Had a fire extinguisher nearby. Got it out before it spread. But he told me afterward, another 10 minutes of sleep, and his whole family might not have made it out. Here's what goes wrong. People put heaters too close to furniture, curtains, bedding. They leave them running unattended or while sleeping. They plug them into extension cords that can't handle the electrical load. They use damaged heaters with frayed cords. They run multiple units on the same circuit. Every single one of these mistakes has caused tragedies. The 3-foot rule is non-negotiable. Nothing flammable within 3 feet, not above, beside, or in front. I've measured this out in my house and marked the boundaries with tape so there's zero guessing. Never leave a space heater running when you're not actively awake and present. I don't care how cold it is, turn it off, pile on blankets, and make it through the night. Always plug directly into wall outlets. Never extension cords, never power strips. The connections can overheat and spark even when they feel fine. And never, ever, use your oven or stove for heating. Carbon monoxide from gas, fire hazard from electric. Your heating solution shouldn't create a bigger danger than the cold itself. 5. Ignoring your pipes until they burst. Let me tell you about the most expensive mistake I ever made as a homeowner. February 2015, cold snap, single digits for 3 days straight. I was young, didn't understand how pipes worked, figured the house was heated so everything would be fine. Day 2, kitchen water pressure started weakening. Didn't think much of it. Day 3, nothing came out at all. Found a pipe in the exterior wall, frozen solid. I didn't know what to do, so I waited for warmer weather to thaw it naturally. Day 4, temperatures rose to 40 degrees. The ice melted. And that's when I discovered the pipe had already cracked from expansion. Water started pouring into my wall at full municipal pressure. By the time I found the shutoff valve, which I'd never bothered to locate before, I had major water damage across 3 rooms. Insurance covered most of it, but my out-of-pocket was still over $3,000. Displaced from half my house for 2 weeks. all because I didn't understand basic pipe physics. Here's what happens. Water expands 9% when it freezes. Pipes are rigid, they can't stretch. So pressure builds until something cracks. The cruel part? The crack often happens away from the frozen section. You might not know there's damage until the ice melts and becomes a flood. Prevention is simple. Know your main shutoff location before you need it, not while water's pouring through your ceiling. When freezes are forecast, open cabinet doors under sinks to let warm air reach pipes. Let vulnerable faucets drip. Moving water resists freezing. Keep your thermostat at 55 minimum even if you leave. If pipes do freeze, never use open flame to thaw them. Hairdryer, heat lamp, or space heater from a safe distance. A few extra dollars in heating cost beats tens of thousands in flood damage. Number 6. Waiting until the last minute to prepare. The scenes repeat after every major storm. Empty grocery shelves, mile-long gas station lines, ATMs depleted of cash, pharmacies closed or unreachable, people desperately searching for supplies that vanished days ago. And every single time the warning was there. The forecast existed, the timeline was public. People simply waited too long. I learned this lesson hard during Hurricane Sandy in 2012. That's actually what got me into preparedness. We had nearly a week of warning. I remember thinking, I'll get supplies Thursday. Sandy hit Monday. Thursday, stores were already chaotic. Friday, water and batteries were gone. Saturday, they closed early. Sunday, everything shut down. I ended up with maybe 2 days of questionable supplies, no flashlight batteries, and half a tank of gas. Lost power for 4 days. 4 days of realizing exactly how unprepared I was for even a moderate disruption. Here's the timeline that actually works. When a major storm enters the 5 to 7 day forecast, verify your supplies. Not buy, verify. If you're properly prepared, you shouldn't need to shop. But realistically, if you must shop, 72 hours before impact is the latest. Beyond that, you're competing with panic buyers and strained logistics. What do you actually need? FEMA recommends 2 weeks of non-perishable food, gallon of water per person per day, minimum 3-day supply, all prescriptions refilled with maximum buffer, battery-powered radio, flashlights with extra batteries, first aid supplies, cash and small bills. Don't forget what others overlook. Pet food, baby formula, manual can opener, medications for everyone, important documents in waterproof container, fully charged portable batteries, vehicle fuel. The other aspect that gets people in trouble is planning. When conditions hit, decisions must happen fast. If you haven't thought through heating, communication, and shelter protocols, you'll improvise under stress. Improvisation under stress leads to the other 8 mistakes on this list. 7. Letting your phone battery drain. Your phone is your lifeline during emergencies, weather updates, emergency services, family contact, critical information. When it goes dark, you're completely isolated. And during bomb cyclones, phones go dark much faster than anyone expects. My buddy went through Buffalo 2022, power out, stranded in his house, needed to reach his elderly mother who lived alone to confirm she was okay. His phone went black before he could reach her. Spent the next 18 hours not knowing if she was alive. Unable to call for help himself if needed. Completely cut off from everything and everyone. She was fine, he was fine, but those 18 hours nearly broke him mentally, and if either had needed emergency assistance, there was no way to request it. Here's why phones fail during storms. Cold temperatures slow the chemical reactions in lithium-ion batteries. Your phone showing 80% in a warm house might function like 50% in the cold. I've watched phones shut off completely while still displaying 30% charge. Then add power outages. No way to recharge. Whatever battery you have when the power goes is all you're getting for potentially days. And what do people do? Refresh social media constantly. Watch videos out of boredom. Make long calls because they're anxious. Leave location services and background apps running. Every activity drains the resource you might desperately need later. Here's my protocol. The moment conditions deteriorate, I switch to extreme conservation. Brightness minimum. Battery saver on. Wi-Fi off. Location services off. Background refresh off. Bluetooth off. No entertainment use. period. That's what books are for. I check weather updates every 2 hours, not every 5 minutes. Texts instead of calls. Predetermined family check-in times so nobody worries. Backup power is essential. Multiple charged battery banks. Solar panel for extended outages. Hand crank radio for weather updates without using phone battery. Your phone might be your only way to call for help. Treat it that way. 8. Underestimating hypothermia risk. People think hypothermia only happens to hikers lost in wilderness or homeless people sleeping outside. It doesn't. It happens in houses when heat fails, in cars when engines stop. To anyone who doesn't understand how quickly the human body loses warmth, I talked to a paramedic who responded during Buffalo 2022. He told me about finding an elderly woman unconscious in her own home, core temperature at 89 degrees. Normal is 98.6. She had blankets available, warm clothes nearby, but she lived alone. When her heat failed, she didn't recognize what was happening to her until it was too late to respond. That's what makes hypothermia so dangerous. One of the early symptoms is confusion. As your core temperature drops, your brain function declines. You make poor decisions. You might actually feel warm at some point. Your body stops shivering to conserve energy, and people misinterpret this as improvement. It's not improvement, it's getting worse. Let me walk you through the stages. Mild hypothermia begins at 95 degrees core temperature. Intense shivering, clumsy hands, difficulty speaking clearly. Moderate is 90 to 95 degrees. Shivering slows or stops. Extreme drowsiness, severe confusion. At this stage, you need outside help because you're losing ability to help yourself. Severe is below 90 degrees, possibly unconscious. Irregular heartbeat. Without intervention, survival is unlikely. This timeline can be shockingly fast. Wet clothing accelerates heat loss dramatically. So does wind. Even indoors, if your house drops to 40 degrees and you're sitting still, hypothermia can develop within hours. Here's the key most people miss. Focus on core temperature, not extremities. Layered clothing traps insulating air. Cover your head. Major heat loss happens there. If heat fails, gather everyone in one room. Close unused areas. Use body heat together. Know the warning signs. Uncontrollable shivering is a red flag. Shivering stopping while still cold is worse. Cold is patient. It doesn't rush, it just waits for your mistakes. Number 9. Eating snow for hydration. This might seem like a strange inclusion, but I've seen it suggested enough in comments and forums that I need to address it directly. The logic seems sound. You're thirsty. Snow is everywhere. Snow is water. Just eat the snow. Do not do this. Eating snow can push you toward hypothermia faster than dehydration ever would. Here's the problem. Your body must melt that snow using its own heat. Snow is 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Your core is 98.6. Every mouthful has to be warmed almost 70 degrees using energy your body desperately needs. In conditions where maintaining core temperature is critical, which it is during any winter emergency, deliberately putting frozen material inside your body works against everything else you're doing to stay warm. The hydration you gain doesn't offset the heat you lose. Your body spends more energy melting and warming that snow than it gains from the water. It's a net negative transaction. Then there's contamination. Snow isn't pure. As it falls and after it lands, it accumulates pollutants, bacteria, debris. Eating contaminated snow can cause gastrointestinal problems, vomiting, and diarrhea, which accelerates dehydration rather than solving it. Now you're cold and sick and dehydrated. Worst possible combination. The correct approach is melting snow before consuming it. Use body heat indirectly. Put snow in a container inside your jacket where it melts without contacting your core. Use any available heat source. The melted water can then be consumed without the hypothermia penalty. Better yet, prepare properly beforehand. Before any storm, fill bathtubs, pots, and every container with water while municipal supply works. Store at least 1 gallon per person per day. Keep it somewhere it won't freeze. If you're at the point where eating snow seems like your best option, multiple things have already gone wrong. The goal is never reaching that point in the first place. That's what preparation means. We've covered a lot of ground here. 9 mistakes that collectively kill more people than the storm itself. Let me summarize what we've learned. Running generators indoors or too close to your home causes carbon monoxide poisoning. The fix is 20 feet of distance minimum and working CO detectors inside. Driving during deteriorating conditions gets people stranded and frozen in their vehicles. The fix is simply not driving unless it's a genuine life-threatening emergency. Shoveling snow without precautions causes heart attacks. The fix is going slow, taking breaks, and knowing when to pay someone else to do it. Misusing space heaters causes house fires. The fix is 3 feet of clearance, never unattended, never on extension cords. Ignoring pipes until they burst causes massive water damage and loss of water supply. The fix is dripping faucets, open cabinets, and knowing your shut-off valve location. Waiting until the last minute to prepare means you can't get supplies when you need them. The fix is preparing 72 hours out minimum, or better yet, having supplies year-round. Draining phone battery on non-essentials leaves you unable to call for help. The fix is extreme conservation mode and backup power sources. Underestimating hypothermia risk leads to freezing in your own home or car. The fix is layered clothing, understanding the symptoms, and knowing how to warm someone gradually. Eating snow for hydration accelerates hypothermia. The fix is melting snow before drinking and storing water before the storm. Every single one of these mistakes seems reasonable in the moment. That's what makes them so dangerous. You're cold, scared, exhausted, and you're making decisions that feel logical but are actually lethal. The people who survive these storms are not necessarily the ones with the most expensive gear or the biggest stockpiles. They're the ones who understand the mistakes that kill people and consciously avoid them. Here's what I want you to do this week. Go locate your water main shutoff right now, today. Put a CO detector in your garage if you have a generator. Clear out 3 feet of space around wherever you'd put a space heater. Make sure your car has a basic emergency kit. Charge your backup batteries. These are small actions. They take minutes. But when that bomb cyclone hits and everyone else is scrambling, making desperate decisions, falling into these deadly mistakes, you'll be calm, you'll be prepared, you'll be alive. The best time to prepare was before you watched this video. The second best time is right now. If this information helped you, hit subscribe because I put out practical, tested content on emergency preparedness every week. Share this with someone you care about. Maybe it saves their life next week. Drop a comment telling me which mistake surprised you most. Stay prepared. Stay practical. And remember, the storm doesn't kill you. Your mistakes do.